This weekend, Ryan's eating Timbits, Andy is slapping strings, and we survive the menus of a Gameboy crafting game. I'm Ryan,
I'm Andy.
and this is Weekend Rental, episode 207. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Weekend Rental Podcast. Andy, how you been?
Pretty good. I don't have a cat clawing my leg right now, so.
I'm jealous of that because I got a real son of a bitch over here off camera. So damn needy every time we record.
That's cats. Yeah.
They're real assholes, you know. They only want to be around you when it's convenient to them, which is never at all remotely convenient to you as the owner.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Well, I've been living the real world and just doing my day-to-day shit. You got to have fun, so let's hear about that instead.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty conservative fun. I mean, it's still a vacation. I'm not going to poo-poo it, but yeah, I had the last week off. We thought about doing like camping the full week, and my kids were like not down with that. So we went. It was my wife's birthday on Sunday of that first weekend, so we did whatever she wanted. Then we camped Monday through Wednesday in northern Minnesota. It was honestly pretty much perfect. It was like a 72-degree day, sunny, didn't have any rain, couldn't ask for more. So did a little fishing, did a little camping. That was a good time. We didn't kill each other. And then we decided, because we got everybody passports when we thought that might be relevant for, or it is still relevant for a potential escape plan for the whole family recently. So we said, hey, we got passports. Let's just go to Canada, right? Like we haven't been to Canada ever as a family. I haven't been in Canada since like my mid-20s because I used to go up and do fishing trips. Just kind of fell off of that after I got older and started working and whatnot. But yeah, we decided to go to Winnipeg for 2 nights. So after we got done camping for half the week, we headed up to good old Canada and went to Winnipeg, which is a decent town. I've been past or around it, obviously, but I've never really spent any time in it. Lot like Fargo, it's literally in the plains in the Midwest along the Red River, which is the same river that runs through Fargo. So it's what you expect. It's flat. There is nothing to see between Grand Forks and Winnipeg other than corn, flax, and soybean fields as far as the eye can see. And we just kind of hung out. There was like an area of town where there was a new outlet mall and there's an IKEA, bunch of restaurants and shops. So we booked a hotel in that area because it was close to the zoo, which was our destination, the Winnipeg Zoo. And hung out. It was pretty cool. As far as like an option to just go to an IKEA, I think the idea to me of like just driving 3 hours unencumbered to an IKEA and not having to fight through Minneapolis traffic. I think if I ever want an IKEA haul again, I'm just getting a U-Haul and going north because so much easier.
Plus you get like the filter of the Swedishness through a Canadian-ish
yes
flavor.
You just pretend that all the French you're hearing is Swedish, and it makes it feel so much more authentic. Yeah, which is funny because like I didn't think I'd run into any French speakers, but when we were out and about, there were definitely several families that were just like full on speaking it, which is cool. The zoo in Winnipeg, I mean, I have to compare it against what we have in Fargo, which is like a bison, a cow, a red panda that constantly escapes, God knows how, and a camel. So in comparison to that, fantastic zoo. In comparison to like traditional like kick-ass zoos, it needs a little help, but it was still okay. The whole centerpiece of this zoo is that they've got a polar bear, and I will say one thing about the zoo is like every enclosure is massive. Like even the wolves and stuff, like you always see them pacing in other zoos, like, and they were doing that, but like their enclosures are so large, kind of impressive. But this polar bear thing is like the whole freaking center of the zoo. And it feels like it's got to be 2.5 acres. Maybe I'm probably exaggerating. I'm probably way off, but it's massive. And then like we just kept circling this thing the whole time, trying to look for the damn polar bear, and nobody could find it. And then like our like first go around, we look out the window and there's workers walking around like placing like toys and like picking up shit and stuff. And I was like, well, clearly polar bear ain't home. It would have been nice if there was a sign or something. But then on the second go around, we did get to see him, which my daughter loves polar bears, so she was excited. It was a big ass polar bear too. So, and then it's the Midwest in the prairie, so there were pocket gophers that had just wisely made their home in the zoo because obviously, right? So we pay. Well, I don't know what we pay to get in. It was probably like $100 for the whole family to go to the zoo. And my kids, their takeaway was the gophers were like the greatest thing ever. Because, they would come up to you and like try to get food out of your hand and stuff. I was like, kids, I can drive you 15 miles out of town and just drop you off. Like you can hang out with these guys all day long. We didn't need to pay to get into the zoo for this.
Wow. Yep. That's funny.
So yeah, it was cool. And then that whole park that's in Winnipeg that the zoo's in there, that Assiniboine Park is like, I think it's like 1,000-acre park. So there was like a botanical garden, which I do recommend going to, maybe over the zoo. That was very neat. And then they just had like a big, huge outdoor space and ponds and stuff. So we walked around and they had like a bar, like a cargo bar there. So you could like sit and order a drink next to the, like, there was like a pond with like geese and stuff and then get street tacos. It's pretty all right. The thing that like shocked me though, was like the diversity up there. Like, I mean, it's like 3 hours north of Fargo, but I would say like almost every restaurant, hospitality, and like store worker, because we were next to this outlet mall, I would say like 80% of them were like of South Asian descent. Like, so, in and around India, like it was clearly like, there's a ton of them up there, like, which I didn't expect. So I was like Googling it and it was like, yeah, it's like a huge ethnic minority in that region. And then I was like looking, because A&W is everywhere up there. And they kept advertising their like masala vegan burger. I was like, well, clearly this is like all across Canada then. That must be like a huge, and I looked it up and like, it is a pretty large minority in Canada. So interesting to see, because like, being so close to Fargo, and like Fargo is like, even as diverse as Fargo is, like it's still a joke compared to what I saw around Winnipeg. So a lot of Native Americans too, actually, which was another thing I Googled, because I was like, there's like a ton of them. And then it was like, it turns out it's like almost 10%, I think, of this almost 1 million resident city is Native Americans, which is kind of an unheard of concentration because they're generally pretty dispersed to like where we're at. I mean, through the U.S. government's own doing, I guess, too. But
right,
yeah.
And I guess I'm ignorant on like how they have a similar. I know they've also had their struggles on how they've treated their Native Americans as well. But is it the same type of reservation thing, or is it more of a displacement kind of wherever?
I don't know. Like, I know both countries have done poorly on that, but like it seemed like in going around town, because we went to like some downtown stuff and like around the zoo and even the shopping areas, like it seemed like there was like a big like pride, like Canadian pride in like the Native American heritage, because like it was pretty well represented in like artwork and things just around town. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, we enjoyed it. Again, it's a lot like Fargo, just bigger. So like, maybe go up there for a night or two and come back, like catch a hockey game or a CFL game and come back. It's not going to blow you away, but it was very cool. My daughter's takeaway was that it was exactly like America, except there's maple leaves on everything. So
yeah.
And then they
metric system.
Yeah, the metric system. Yeah, for sure. And they came up with the genius idea because there was a lot of, in the area we were in, there's like a ton of international foods, like Asian and like Thai foods and stuff. And then there was like multiple boba shops, which that's kind of everywhere, right? But then my daughter came up with the genius idea that like you should open a boba shop founded out of Manitoba and you just call it Mana Boba. And then
that has to exist.
I don't know. And then my wife's like, well, the jingle needs to be, it's the bobiest place in Manitoba. I'm like, well, we're just making up words now. Like bobiest isn't a thing. So but yeah, if we have any Canadian listeners who want to start a new franchise, it seems like a home run. So So yeah, that was our week. It was, to be honest, packing 2 trips in like that, because like camping's a lot of work. A road trip, not as much work, but like it was kind of an exhausting week off because it was like you were never really settled. We were going somewhere for a night or two, packing it all up, coming back, packing up for the next thing. So I don't know.
And I suppose you at least visited your house in
Yes,
between, right? Because you
right.
had
We
to
were
drop off
back
everything. Yeah.
Wednesday in between. Yep. Yeah. So it was fun, just hectic. And then I got to come back on Monday to work, and I'd gotten my Windows 11 upgrade on my work PC and spent the whole day dealing with that bullshit and trying to get things up and running. And it was great. And then, dig yourself out of the hole with a couple hundred emails. So,
Yep.
yeah.
They let you back in though, no problem.
They did. I will say, I've gone across the border quite a few times. I mean, like I said, not since my 20s, like mid 20s. The US side is always, they're always pricks every time. This time I came back, the guy's like, all right, roll down your back window. Bringing anything with you? I'm like, I don't know. I got a 6-pack of beer. All right, welcome back. Hands me this. I'm like, really? That's it? I'm like, you don't want to check my phone for JD Vance memes? Like, what are we doing? So yeah, surprisingly painless. I will say, so for listeners who don't know, essentially Grand Forks is a city that's an hour north of Fargo, and that's an hour from the border. So that's like our last major city, right? And like it used to be a very frequent thing. I went to college up there. Tons of people, Canadians, coming all the time on the weekends to shop and everything. Likewise, young adults traveling north to go drink legally across the border before they're old enough in the U.S. Ghost town, either side of the border, like between Grand Forks and Winnipeg, like almost nobody's going back and forth. Like even on Saturday when we came back, it ain't happening. Like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that, the tourism side.
Oh yeah.
That is way, way down up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was mostly semis. And then Saturday when we came back, there were maybe like 6 to 8 people heading up to Canada with their boats and stuff to go fishing and whatnot. But yeah, it is definitely not what it once was. So definite impacts. And pretty much everywhere you went in Winnipeg for shops and advertising and stuff, like it was very much emphasized. Like the slogan was Canada owned on like everything that was, and you kind of understand why.
Yep. Good for them.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm telling you, Manitoba, somebody do it. But yeah, what have you been up to? I mean, obviously no vacations yet, but playing some games.
No, we're trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Not sure if we're going to do like a full blown one, but something extended weekend thing or something.
Yeah.
Not sure what yet to do, but
go pitch a tent to the new lake property.
Yeah, something like that. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't done much. We now that the kids are older and we can just kind of leave them at home to go do things now.
Kind of really like feral children, just like
it kind of is that way. But definitely had more opportunities now to go do the things that we haven't done in over 10 years now, basically. So we hit up our local brewery and went to trivia night.
Nice.
And tied for first.
No.
And lost the tiebreaker.
Oh, it's crushing.
Yeah. But it was just me and Amanda. And, the other team is like 6 people. So, like.
Nice.
How is there a tiebreaker, right?
Yeah. If it's less minds, you should get the automatic win.
Yeah, right.
Win, not wind. So what was the runner-up prize then?
Not a damn thing.
Those bastards.
Yeah.
What was the grand prize had you have won?
$25, which might have covered the drinks.
Probably yeah, it goes a long way these days. It's like a McDouble. So
right. But I like they've got some good beer there, so
yeah,
try to go there when we can yet. And
Yeah, I always hear
they
good
ended up,
things.
they bought the Fergus Falls brewery now.
Oh, the one down
Fergus
on the
Brewery.
water there?
Yep.
Okay.
Which is, it's weird seeing like a brewery that started in a town of maybe like 200 people grow to one that's in 1,000 people, and now, you know, overtaking one that's 12,000 people or whatever.
Yeah. I really liked that one too. Like Outstate, right? Is the one that was in Fergus. Like,
Oh, no. So that one's still there.
oh,
And
okay. It's the other one.
the other one, yep, Fergus Brewing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I thought Outstate did pretty well, but yeah, it's so tough like with these like microbreweries anymore because like the sales have just like dropped off. Like 20 somethings aren't drinking beer, so
Hmm.
makes you wonder how owning like multiple microbreweries across multiple cities is manageable, right?
Yeah, I'm sure this one probably has more equipment that they maybe didn't have. I don't think they had canning and all that stuff, so
Sure.
this maybe opens that up for them. But it is weird to see breweries expand. Or, you know, like once you hear them closing down, you usually don't hear about them opening back up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's pretty much unheard of. Like I can't think of any cases in Fargo because we did like the whole pandemic shrink where we went from like 7 or 8 brewery town down to 3. And none of them. Well, actually, it's not true. One transitioned out of a space, and a new one came in, but they didn't last. So
hmm
I'm sure, like it's tough too because when those businesses go under, obviously you have to pay your debts, and I'd imagine in the foreclosure process, the brewing equipment is like the real like recovery maker. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's
But
probably
you
not
also
staying
need
on
somebody to
site.
buy that stuff now too,
Uh
and
huh.
it's like, well, who's buying
Yeah, that's true.
you know, equipment? So
Yeah, yeah. I'll have to
yeah,
try that one someday. I keep hearing it's a good brewery, but never been over there and
hmm
get to it.
yeah. But I think we'll try that again tomorrow. We'll see.
See if you can win. Coming back hungry.
I I think there's a lot people could do with trivia. It just seems like after, you know, having a decade or so of Jackbox games at this point, and then going to a local trivia where they're still doing the most basic shit. It's like,
Are they
how is
doing
this
it
not?
on apps at least, or are you still writing it on
No,
paper?
yeah,
What?
still paper.
Okay, see, I haven't
Yep.
been to a trivia in the last 3 years that didn't have you like scan a QR code and then do the app,
Oh,
which
really? Okay.
I do like that, but also there's a lot of bullshittery in that when the Wi-Fi is bad at the area or your data slows down and like fucks you out of like answers. But yeah,
Yeah.
but you're in a smaller area, so I can see how they probably don't want to shell out for like an app that they're, why do app when paperwork just as good? So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it should be like you're right though. It should be more of a multimedia experience all around.
Yep.
It's easy enough to do it these days.
Yeah, you would think so.
You guys didn't drink too many and have a puke and rally situation again, did you?
No.
Okay.
No, it was
You're lightweights after those 10
it's a,
years, you have a
it
sip
is
and you're
kind
just
of
buzzed.
it kind of is that way, yeah, unfortunately. Maybe fortunately compared to how much beer costs now too, but
Yeah, that's true. Well, wait till that was the other thing from Manitoba. Buying must be a provincial thing, but like a 12 pack of beer cost me $24 Canadian, but then there's a $5 like bottle deposit fee on it. It's like, well, I'm
mm,
clearly never going to return these 12 cans, so I'm just out $5. It's fucking awesome. So yeah. Is what it is.
that's a lot.
Yeah. But I suppose like if you're gonna recover it and be a responsible human being, like you can get with the idea, I suppose. But
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. I wanted to ask you if you caught that Donkey Kong Bonanza direct.
Yeah.
So I feel like my initial has I still this is still not a game in my wheelhouse, especially after today that they confirmed that it was in fact the same team that developed Mario Odyssey that made this, which if it wasn't apparent from this direct based on the costume shop, the
Yeah.
what's her name, not yeah, what is the girl, I forget, not
Pauline,
Rosalie.
yeah.
Pauline, yeah. So it's like, oh, they lifted her from Odyssey. It's like, obviously, there's no mistaking the fact that this is based on the same engine. The fact that it's the same team makes a lot of sense too. But it was interesting to see that there's much more to this game than they kind of let you believe from the surface. It almost makes you wonder why they didn't expose a little bit more of that earlier on, because I think it probably would have done a lot to make people be more interested. I think there's something here. I just still know that this is the type of 3D platformer that is not my jam. I'll play through them, but I just don't love the collectathon stuff. Also, when they were showing how you go deeper into the earth to uncover other worlds with more suns and things like that, I'm a little confused as the science behind that. I know it's
when you're trying to get to the surface. That's what the whole point of the game was, to get to the surface while you're going farther down.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like the journey to the center of the earth sort of thing.
So when I was watching that direct, I was really getting jazzed for the first half of it. I'm like, oh yeah, this looks really good. And as soon as they started saying, oh, and he can turn into a ostrich, and then he can turn it into a zebra, that's the part where I was like, no, I'm clocked out. This is why can't he just ride a zebra? Why can't he just be a zebra then?
Right. Whatever. Yeah, I agree. I started to not like that. It was a weird way to do power-ups. I what I felt watching it honestly was, it was like Nintendo watched how much people loved Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, and they're like, let's just blend the best of both of those games and we'll throw Donkey Kong in it. And I don't think that they're probably wrong for doing it. I just don't know that this should have been a Donkey Kong game. Like, it probably should have been a Mario game.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. With games, how they have been, especially with Minecraft and all this stuff, where there's no real boundaries or real point to some of those games, you make your own fun. You can definitely see Nintendo starting to court that style of gaming, with the Mario Kart going, you can drive wherever you want and do, and this is just kind of just destroy everything, whatever.
Well, they do it so half-assed. Minus Zelda. Zelda did it right, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The DK rap is back, so that's worth something alone. But yeah,
and also the timeline. I mean, Cranky Kong's in there, who is the original Donkey Kong, yet Pauline is like a teenager. So or a child. So what timeline are we in here?
Well, and Diddy and Dixie are, I don't know if you saw them in the clip, but they're in the background.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wish they would have almost played a little more traditional to what Donkey Kong Country did. Like you said, the morphing thing. I get it. It's a power-up scheme, but it seemed weird. I'm very much more on board with it than I was leading up to that direct. I came away thinking okay, this is actually going to have some cool stuff. And some of the visuals looked really great, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a weird twist on the Odyssey engine. But and also the thing that I think, now that they said it was the Odyssey team, was how far away are we from a Mario game then, if that team in theory would have been working? I mean, obviously another team could be making one, but a 3D Mario could be a way off.
Mario Brothers Switch
2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I just wonder how sick of kind of just digging and stuff that you would get. It just doesn't, it seems like the main mechanic of how you're collecting this stuff is very one note, whereas Odyssey had a lot of moons and stuff, but usually there was different interesting contraptions that you had to do to get to them, right?
And it is interesting too that they went with RPG traits, right? Because they've not done that with Zelda really. Well, they did a little with the energy things and stuff, but they're really stacking ability building onto it, which is interesting, but it's not something we've seen in a Nintendo platformer, because generally the whole premise is you're the superhero all the time and you get power-ups, but it's a level playing field. So it's kind of interesting to see them put that RPG layer on top. I'm curious to see how they effectively do that. You
Yeah,
know,
I'm kind of glad they did because I was getting to the point watching that and was like, well, what's the point? All this gold is just so you can power up. What's the point? I'm just going to be skipping all the gold
yeah,
if that's the case for the most part,
yeah,
unless I
that's
need it.
true. Yeah, I mean that's the next big thing, right? Like they better get Switch 2s back in stock. I still haven't seen
Hmm.
one in a store since I got mine, so
Yeah,
they're selling.
I, there's some, yeah, 5 million or something, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah. If I see one, I'll probably pick one up uh, by Bonanza Day. But
Yeah. So is this bass or bass?
ooh, that's a great question.
Have you been fishing or playing music?
I'm doing the music variety.
Oh.
Yeah. So a little while ago, I kind of did the whole Rocksmith thing, and then I've since broken that open so you can upload any custom stuff in it. So I've got hundreds, if not thousands, of songs in there now, and it really does not like loading all those songs. It's like, but you can also hook up a bass to it, and I figured that'd be a good way to kind of get into bass. So
So you started
I
slapping the
bought
bass?
I bought a cheap bass and been playing around with that, I guess.
So you're like what, a keyboard away from being one of those like build a song live YouTubers that just like does it in front of an audience and
I
like
do. Okay, Dave Grohl did this, right? I mean, Foo Fighters started basically to him doing that, right?
if you're comparing yourself to Dave Grohl, I'm gonna need to hear some skills from you. So
Yeah. No, it's one of those where I'm not a huge fan of bass anyway, because I mean, for the most part, it's like the least recognizable stuff in most songs anyway, right?
yeah, it's
It's
just the
not,
rhythm section,
and
right?
it's very repetitive and usually not all that fun. So it's, you play another one bites the dust, and then you're like, yep, that was fun. And for the most part, that's kind of what it is. And hooking it up to Rocksmith, it's kind of a crapshoot whether or not you find a song that's fun, or if you're just playing the same three notes at the same tempo the whole
Right?
song.
Yeah.
So
I just always think of School of Rock when he's like teaching that girl to play the bass. It's like a cello. Just hold it this way, and then take these two fingers and go like this. It's just like she just does that for the whole song.
yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that's cool though. I mean, if you're already invested in the whole platform, like might as well add another instrument.
Right. So I don't have a bass amp, I have a bass guitar.
Nice. That all works, right?
Yep.
Is there much difference between like I suppose the low end on a bass amp would be
Yeah,
much better.
yeah, and you can blow if you set it too high, you can blow out a regular guitar amp with a bass too. So
So don't do that.
yeah,
Nice. Where'd you find the bass?
it was an online deal. It's like a $200 bass for $120. So it's nothing special, that's for sure, but it stays in tune. That's about as good as I can expect.
I mean, for that price, you're like one step away from starting a punk band at this point. Like,
Gotta get some drums.
you got enough kids. You could have the family band, man. You guys could be the
Hmm.
Partridge Family.
Hmm. Yep. I don't know if I could take drums though. I don't know if I could take having a kid play drums.
Yeah, that's kind of a rough one. I had two friends growing up who were drum players, and I don't think either of their parents loved it too much. Like, you can
Yep.
only stuff so many pillows into a bass drum and or a kick drum, and it's not even going to help that much.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they have the digital sets now that you could just put in your headphones, but I don't know if that.
You're still hearing like the whacking on the plastic, though.
Yeah, yeah. And you probably don't get the right, the true skill to it, or the right.
Right. Yeah, because the
how you do
feel's gonna
it.
be different off the stick, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, you have that big outbuilding, so you can just put like a enclosed drum kit studio out there and
mm-hmm.
let
Yeah,
them bang themselves crazy.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of topics. We can go through. You get a couple others here.
yeah. The only other one I had was we played another board game called Disney Animated, I think.
Okay.
Um, and the point of the game is to finish a classic animated Disney movie where you fill out the backgrounds, and then you put some animation cells on top of it and collect the villain for that movie.
Okay.
So there's a variety of things that you have to do. It's a cooperative game with everybody you're playing, and I think the base game comes with 5 movies. And they're mostly old. I think the only newish one is Aladdin. But I was really impressed with like kind of the production value of it, because it's kind of like puzzle pieces that you're fitting into the background of your movie as you earn those. And the animation cells are just like clear plastic cards with the the animation
Oh,
cell
really?
right on
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah. So you lay it right on top. Yeah. And everything else is pretty good quality. The little each movie that you get has kind of their own power and their own little special tokens. So it kind of feels like, oh, there's some variety to this. And yeah, I don't know. We've only played one game, so I don't know the whole gamut of it. I think eventually there could be some spots where it's like, oh, it's really hamstrung because you need one resource and everybody's trying to do it.
It's called Disney Animated.
I think that's the name of it. Yeah. The main mechanic of the game is that you get these resources by selecting powers, and the
Like,
powers are all in front of you, and they all have certain levels. So if it's a level, if you select it when it's in level 5, you get the best version of that power. But then it goes all the way down to the bottom, and then all the other powers move up, right? So it's almost like a track
sure.
of. So it's that part is probably the most interesting because it's also cooperative. So you have to talk with the other people to be like, "Don't you dare freaking touch that one! I need that one." Because by the time it's my turn, I don't need it down at 1. That's not going to do me anything, you know. So
Sure.
it definitely has a lot of gets your mind going and thinking ahead a lot. So, and it's kids like it. So
Yeah. Well, I just Googled it to see if I had seen that one before, and I hadn't
yeah,
seen the box. But like, it's kind of crazy how many like Disney based board games, like detailed board games, there are right now too. Because
Mhm.
I got that one that we picked up, and I still haven't played through it. And it's kind of the same thing where it's like a team based, like work towards a goal and take down a villain. So,
Oh
which
yeah,
makes sense from a
yeah,
Disney premise.
yeah. The whole villainous thing. That's a whole. I mean, there's a whole bunch of those that are also really good. But yeah,
Yeah.
Disney and Marvel really do like the amount of money that Disney paid for Marvel. It's like they had to have earned it back on almost day one, just licensing all this shit, right? It's
For
crazy
different
just how much.
projects, yeah.
Yes, and yeah, Disney will put their stuff on anything too. You want to make a Disney game, you want to do this, yep, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
But
they got to feed the machine somehow, right? But at least for the
yeah,
most part, they're doing it in a way that seems to be fun for most things they do. So
right.
maybe not preserving the sanctity of their original Disney IPs, but they're they're putting out a lot of merch.
Yeah. Well, and this one is definitely like it's got a lot of like pictures and stuff of like the old time studio
Oh,
of like
really?
where these animators actually worked and kind of showed all that stuff. So it's really got a theme of that, the old style hand drawn animators, and there's a
That's
whole bunch
pretty
of
cool.
quotes straight from Walt Disney and the glory days, I guess.
Nice. Any like weird quotes from Walt Disney in there? Like, because isn't he like always accused of being like a weird like Nazi and like creep out? Like, I don't know where these rumors come from that guy, but like, and people still believe like his head is preserved somewhere like in like the
Yeah, I think
Disney
he's frozen,
world.
right?
Yeah, it's so wild.
Could wake him up and see what he thinks about the world now.
See if Futurama got it
Hmm.
right. Yeah. Well, I didn't, like I said, I didn't have any other topics. I was just going to touch on something that kind of came out of nowhere from the last time we recorded. Um, and maybe some of our listeners, local listeners, will be familiar with. But I don't know, many years ago, you and I got involved with a little retro tabletop convention called Game Fest here in Fargo, pre-pandemic, obviously. I think a lot of that stuff went away after that, and we met a gentleman named Ben Ewan. He was head of running that. Got to know him, worked with him the next year to do our one and only swap meet. That was a ton of fun. And just yeah, we used to do like local game nights, get together with the retro community, and go downtown and play games. And I had saw like we just talked like in May. Like Ben had sent like a topic to me for the podcast to record, and we talked about it. And then I don't know, like I sent him I saw like a weird like Facebook short or like a YouTube short that was like a D&D thing that I thought was funny and sent it to him, like texted him or messaged him. And like a few days go by and like just nothing, right? Like not even like read, not responded. I was like, well, that's weird. And I don't know like well, obviously our friend Ben had like some health issues with his heart and stuff, but he's like our age, like mid 40s or and I'm not trying to age Andy, he's younger than I am. But I just something just told me like Google it, and I just searched his name and then like Fargo and obituary, and like sure enough, like he had just died, and like I had no idea. Nobody in the community knew. I reached out to a few people to see if they had heard, and nobody did. Like I was the one like kind of getting it out there to everybody. But yeah, he passed away on June 14th, and just 44. I mean, young
Yeah.
guy. It's awful.
It just, yeah, it just sucked. And to have as many issues with his heart that he did,
Yeah.
it just sucked that eventually one of these times, because that's the last time we talked, we talked pretty in depth about it, and he
Yeah.
says, yeah, basically doctors are like at this point, like there's nothing we can do. My insurance doesn't cover anything else anymore. So
Well, yeah,
yeah,
and he even made the joke. Like he's like, well, if I ever, I'd really like to get to the Midwest Gaming Classic if I make it that long. And I was like, kind of like, haha, whatever. But like,
yeah,
yeah, I guess he wasn't kidding. Like, also like discussing that we live in a world where like your insurance dictates whether or not you can get like a heart transplant, or because I suppose he's in like that tough position too, right? Like where you're young enough that like you're not making it onto a donor list, and if you're not wealthy enough to just pay
yeah,
for the goddamn thing, like you're kind of SOL. But
yeah,
um,
yeah. I don't know the whole situation on what was up with that,
yeah,
but it's definitely sad. Way too young, that's for sure.
yeah, it was a bummer. He was, you know, a nice guy. Like didn't know him like super well, but spent plenty of time gaming with him and talking games and hung out multiple times. Um, you know,
Extremely passionate about gaming. Like,
yes, 100%. Like his level of passion towards tabletop and all of those things is cool to see. So yeah, crazy. But I mean, I'm glad we got to hang out. That last time when replay was closing down, and
yep.
just wish I'd have found out like in a different way. I think we all probably did, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah. So dedicate this episode to Ben, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I suppose we're probably on to staff picks, huh? I'm gonna let
Yeah,
you go first.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Well, I can go first. It just ties back in anyway. So like I said, we went to Canada. So like I put Tim Horton down as
That
like,
was what I was thinking,
yeah,
actually.
because like my complaint. So when I traveled over to Norway, there was a coffee shop bakery called Backstube, which I think is just bakery in Norwegian. And like they just do it right? Like it's about like pastries and like the breakfast comes first and then the coffee is just kind of like, all right, it's pretty good, right? And like Tim Hortons is kind of the same way. Like it's just all about like the donuts and the coffees. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite cup of coffee I've ever had. Like it's mostly just traditional, like not crazy Starbucks or Caribou combinations. They have some of that, right? But I was just amazed at like how good it was, how friendly the staff was, and how cheap it was. Like it was so inexpensive. Like my son they got these like breakfast boxes where it's like scrambled eggs with like tater tots and like some aioli on it. And it was like $4 Canadian. I think if you buy a cup of coffee, a donut's $1 or whatever. And it's just like you're doing it right. Like you're putting like the breakfast first and then like a traditional cup of coffee. Like everybody else in the US is just so focused on giving you like whatever your fucking caramel iced milk, oat milk latte, freppa, whatever, that costs you $8. And I took my family 2 mornings to Tim Hortons. Everybody got a drink, everybody got breakfast, and we paid like $30 Canadian. Like it's so affordable.
Yeah, and the you're getting actual donuts out of that, whereas, yeah, like you said, Starbucks, you're probably getting the same amount of calories even just in the coffee at Starbucks than you are.
Absolutely. So like, why not get the black coffee and just eat your calories, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna get them either way. And then the thing I loved is like they do donut holes, but they call them Timbits. But they had donut holes that were like
I'm out of this stuff.
they're delicious. I'm telling you. They had ones that were like I want to say like raspberry. I think it was raspberry cream cheese filled donut holes. Those things were fucking amazing. Like that's like crack. Like gonna kill you for sure, but delicious.
Yeah.
So
huh.
yeah. So I'm a fan. Like I wish we had it here, and it's sad. I just wish we had traditional, like even like a Dunkin' Donuts. I would like around here. Like we just don't have them in our area. So
there's not one in Fargo.
no.
Is there one in Grand Forks?
Dunkin' Donuts or Tim Hortons?
Tim's.
There was in both, but they've all closed since 2022.
Okay.
So we don't have any in the state. I think there might be some other states that have them, but North Dakota's
there was one in Brainerd, I think that might be gone now too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing it right. Like affordable. It's what you want. Black coffee, donut, go.
Yep. Well, my staff pick is a YouTube video series from, let's say conservatively say 10 years ago. And from a now defunct website called polygon.com. I think they're gone now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When that website started, one of the main group of guys was the McElroy brothers. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're now pretty famous for their My Brother and Me podcast, and they do a whole bunch of other stuff like that. But they also worked for Polygon at this time, and they had a YouTube series where it was called Monster Factory. Very famous too. I mean, they would get millions of hits on this stuff too, and it was basically just making the worst concoctions you could in a character creator of all these different video games, and then just have a wild and crazy adventure with the character, in the game. It was they're very funny, highly enjoyable to, and I've seen a lot of them, so it's funny to go back and watch them. And the two of them have such infectious laughter that the way that they're laughing will make you just start cry laughing to some point. Yeah, it's really good.
I hope they did one with Ark, because like Ark has the most like absurd character creation.
I think
you can make like extreme deformities in that game.
Yep. Yeah, I think they did. I want to say they did. I'll have to
pretty
watch
awesome.
that one. I haven't seen that one in a long time. But
I had never heard of that, but that sounds pretty interesting. It's a good
yep.
idea for a
And
web
then they
series.
just make them do, just the stupidest stuff too, anything that can go along with the character that they basically create a character as they go along, they're like come up with an idea that they're just
They're giving you like
ad-libbing.
backstories and preferences.
Right.
And
Yeah, they're basically making a lore about this character, and yeah, it's
so is that on a dedicated YouTube channel or was that on Polygon's?
I think a lot of it is still on Polygon,
Okay.
its YouTube channel. I don't know, at some point maybe they started doing it on their own. I don't know. But yeah, I think eventually they probably character creators got too good where they're like, well, you can't really make something completely hideous and broken, but
Yeah. I mean, BioWare was really helping people out for a while, but
yeah, yep.
yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I think that was one we watched. Was they did a Mass Effect one, and even in that one, he was like editing values in a text file in the game.
Oh, really?
So it was like making his eyeballs just go like completely out of his head, and it was just hilarious that he would talk to people, and his mouth and his eyes would be like right on people. It was just
I'll have to track this down. Sounds great.
yep.
Well, I guess that puts us at the weekend rental, huh? The weekend rental, if you're uninitiated, it's a game we pick and play for a given system. The system this go around is the Game Boy Color, and we play the game any night individually, and then give our thoughts as to whether we would buy, rent, or burn the game. The game, of course, is Survival Kids, which got brought to Switch Online, I think, primarily to help them sell the new Survival Kids game that just came out on the Switch too. So probably
Right.
a game that flew under the radar for most.
Yeah. But boy, was it a predecessor to games that exist now.
And do it so much better.
Yeah, that's true too.
So yeah, I don't know. Like the premise is very shallow with this game, right? Like you're a child, you pick boy or girl and name it. And you're a child who's going on a trip on the ocean with their parent, handed a knife. I don't know. I didn't play the girl. I don't know what they handed her, assuming a knife. And then ship capsized, wake up on a beach, game. So you're a 11-year-old, was it? 11-year-old child, so. Just waking up on a beach with a knife. And, well, you find a few other things, but basically just throws you right into it. So Survival Kids is very accurate. You are a child trying to survive a shipwreck.
Yeah, and it might be one of the first. It's definitely like the only handheld game I could think of where it's like has an idea like that where you're gaining resources and crafting.
Yes, and you are literally surviving. Like it has a day counter, and you are constantly needing to not get hurt, feed yourself, and drink water,
Yeah.
and that is an ever-present threat. And your game very much ends if you don't maintain those things.
Yeah, staying out of the rain. Even there's a whole bunch of.
You got to build the umbrella, like he tells me every time. I never built the umbrella, but I assume there's one in the game.
Yeah. But yeah, it's finding two different resources and merging them together to get something. And it doesn't tell you. I don't think there's anything that tells you how to make anything. So
no, there's the thing that keeps telling, like there was the thing that was always like putting two sticks together makes a fire. So I tried that like 20 times, didn't make a fire. And then I kept going in the one cave enough that finally the game felt bad for me. And they're like, how about you put sap on a stick and it makes a torch, which I did. But then I couldn't light the torch.
Still need fire.
So it didn't do me any fucking good. So, but yeah, it is like so brutally abstract. I think like it must be like it must slowly drip feed you ideas based on like length of gameplay time and then like running into the same obstacles over and over again. But Yeah, it was very much like I don't even that opening scene on the beach where you're trapped on the beach. I I sat there for like 20 minutes. I was like, I've done the things. I did everything. And then like, oh, I didn't check one lump of sand that looks like every other
Yep,
lump of
where all your
sand.
stuff is.
And yeah, it's like, oh, your entire inventory is here. Game starts now. It's like, well, fuck you. Like, give me some indication. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Presentation
definitely
wise,
brutal in that way.
yeah, for sure. Presentation wise, it reminds me a lot of Pokemon.
Hmm.
I feel like it looks like a top down Pokemon Game Boy game, you know, plays like combination between that and like a Zelda, right? Like you do have some actions, you have a knife you can wield. But I found the controls a little bit frustrating. Kind of herky jerky on like if you're lined up to something right to like strike it or like check it out or pick it up. And maybe that's because I was using mostly an analog stick, which instead of a D-pad, which made it a little worse. Um, but yeah,
I had to move to over to an emulator just so I could walk faster
oh
and
really?
hit a
Yeah,
fast forward button on this game. It's pretty slow walking around to everything.
yeah, that's pretty true. And then that kind of gets into the main core mechanic, which is central to like a survival style game, but really kind of grinds this thing into the ground for me. And that's like the day night cycle is painfully short. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
5 minutes maybe, if that. Five to
Yeah.
10. I mean, I don't even know. It seems like some days were longer than others. I
Well, and
don't
then you would
know.
find another, be like, oh, I'm out exploring pretty far away from my hut.
Yeah.
Here's another shelter. Oh, well, I slept there. I couldn't sleep at all because there was animals taking all my shit.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always fun. Yeah, it's just like that constant fear of like not being out too late. So like I found myself like, all right, I'm gonna go do two things and then I'm gonna run back and sleep again because I don't want to get caught out and like
Mm.
deplete my health and um it suffers from the console that it's on. You are constantly doing the shittiest, most monotonous inventory management and like merging and like the most archaic like this game is like how to spend half the game in the menu of the game. And that's not a joke. Like you get to a point where you're constantly like, oh, I want this thing. Well, you can't have that. You gotta drop a thing. I got to the point where like I just stopped picking up food and I would just eat whatever shit I found on the ground. I'm like, I'm just gonna eat this because it's not worth filling up my inventory. Like I don't care if these mushrooms are gonna make me crazy and my D-pad's gonna be inverted. It's worth it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. There's so much food in here in this game that's just like, oh, you ate that? Well, F you because now you're
Right.
paralyzed
Yep.
or whatever. Which I guess, yeah, sure, that's survival, I guess. But,
You don't know unless you eat
yeah,
it.
especially once you get farther in the game and you have like tools that you use back to back and back to back, it really is a lot of going to the menu, go scrolling down to the thing, click use or equip, and yeah, that got pretty annoying pretty fast.
Yeah.
You can store a lot of the stuff in your hut when you're not using it,
Oh, I missed that part.
but
Damn
even
it.
that, the inventory is still way too small, I think, because you can journey out enough to fill it up pretty quick. I think
Oh
it's like
yeah.
maybe 8 or 10 slots, maybe.
Yeah, I mean there's some of those areas like within like 3 screens you'd have it like full.
Yep.
I found myself not wanting to keep playing this game fairly early on. Like I never made fire. I couldn't ever figure it out. I
I
tried.
what was it? I think it's tree bark and stick.
Yeah, but that
I
makes
don't remember.
kindling, but then how do you light the kindling?
You just use it. You just say use kindling and then
Shut
start the
up.
fire. Yeah.
Why would it be like that? I was trying to use the goddamn match like a normal fucking person. Kindling doesn't make a fire. It said I needed 2 sticks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried every combination, a big stick, bendy stick with that kindling. I
Oh,
can't
you
believe that
had you
would.
had fire there the whole time.
Oh my god, I'm so pissed off now. That sucks.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna go back and explore
that
that cave for sure.
yeah. I think that was the only spot that I did get a recipe. Kind of. There was a skeleton in there, and he told me something. I don't remember what it was, but I never ended up using it.
I think that
Um,
early monkey maze where he steals your stuff is like just brutal for a game that is already like really demanding a lot of you, and to like have you be in an endless maze that could potentially just like outright kill you that early in the game. Not
right,
cool.
right. It would be like Zelda. It's like the Lost Woods, like immediately,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah, monkey's a prick. I thought I was gonna get something better out of it too. It's like, no, you get your shit back in a pointy rock. It's like, well, fuck, that didn't help me at all. Give me another hut at least.
Yeah, I made it somewhat decently far in this that I found batteries for the radio,
Nice.
and there was supposedly a helicopter or a search party or something coming, and I missed it somehow.
Uh,
And that's when I looked up like what am I supposed to be able to do this?
right.
And there's like 7 endings to this game that you
Really?
can do. And that's one of them. Like pretty early on, you can get that thing and take a helicopter out, and you're done.
So it's just a
Uh,
matter of getting there fast enough.
and getting to the beach at the right time or something like that. I think it said. Um, and then after that, I built a raft, and I didn't end up going on the raft because that was the point where I'm like, okay. I looked at like what ending that was, and it was like
And you
if
weren't
you have 4
satisfied.
food, if or you have less than 4 food, you die out on the raft. If you have more than 4 food,
God.
and the monkey is with you, and then yeah, it was just like a whole bunch of stuff. It's like this thing is there's a lot of branching paths on this survival game.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. Like it really is, like you said, like it's kind of impressive for the platform it came out on. Like it frameworks a lot of things, like even Minecraft to some extent, like crafting just randomly, and like there's a lot of ideas that are in a lot of modern games right now that I hadn't seen at the point when something like this had released.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's very stripped down where to the point where
Yeah,
like you're collecting one stick and one thing or whatever, whereas, modern games you're really getting all those resources in bulk.
you're punching a tree and getting 10 wood.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty impressive for a Game Boy. And I'm sure there was PC games that were doing this type of stuff,
Sure.
but I can't think of another console game that was doing much of this.
Did you ever run into another human character on the island or no?
Just the dead skeleton. That was about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just liked how every time you go to a new area, he's like, "There's nobody here." It's like, we get it, we get it. There's
Yep.
nobody on the island. Don't have to tell me every time.
Yep. It's makes complete sense after playing this that they would make a modern one
Sure.
and then also do it in the vein of all the other crafting games too, right? So
Yeah. I mean,
it's
that's
a
really all this game needed to be much more playable is like modern hardware and horsepower to make the inventory system not a chore.
Yep, exactly.
So, do you think this will spur you to buy the new one now and play it?
Mm-mm. I'll have to look at how that plays because I remember seeing the video and it seemed like it was pretty multiplayer focused
It
too.
did.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't read any reviews. I should probably do that. But yeah, I mean, interesting game all around for sure. Like, but the difficulty in it, like, yeah, I had to turn to wikis even at some points just to get past minor roadblocks. What do you think you'd give it on the buy rent and burn scale?
Yeah. So it's tough because I think a lot of that stuff is to pad out the game,
Yeah,
right? To make it this little handheld game actually like once I started like seeing what you need to do, it was just like breezing through things. You could get to endings so fast after a while, if you know what to do, where to go and get all this stuff, right? Um so I think most of the length in this game is through obscurity like that.
yeah,
Um but it's just enough of obscurity and annoyingness to go through those menus and see, oh, your stuff is full, and oh, what you ate 1 minute ago is now messing with you, and testing stuff to see how they merge together. Yeah, I'm impressed by what the game is, but I just can't quite give it a buy. I'm gonna have to go rent, I think. But I think it's absolutely worth somebody trying it out to see how the sync works and be like, wow, this is somewhat functional for what they're actually going for on a Game Boy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm right with you. I'm sure that this is somebody's favorite game out there, but for me it's a rent. I think it's an interesting concept and genre on a platform that was like super underpowered for its time. So like I think what they did here is pretty cool. I just don't know if it was fully for me as far as a buy, because like you said, like just the complete lack of any clue as to what to do and just trial and error and hoping you get it right. I mean, it was still fun. It just never didn't feel tedious either, which is a feeling that I don't like. Even in modern like survival games, like I don't like when the scales are tipped so far against you and there's like 12 things to manage. Like No Man's Sky is a perfect example. It's just like it's too many things. Like let me play the game, and like, or even Ark if you're doing it on the public server and like everything's degrading and it's like this can't be my life. Like I have to be able to have some fun too, right?
Yep.
And I think that's where it gets a little wonky. But yeah, great presentation. I loved the music. The opening intro scenes were really cool. The the animal sprites were sometimes quite questionable. The way that Millipede and Snake moved, I don't know, but pretty good overall. Definitely a rent.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, kind of inventory management and obscurity stuff is probably based in a lot of like point and click adventure PC stuff, right?
Sure.
Same type of inventory management stuff, but framed in a crafting game almost.
Yeah. It just loses so much in the Game Boy, because it's like it's not like there's a description telling you like kind of hinting at like, you know, what the thing does, right? It is just a complete guessing game. Like it's so wild.
And this is probably the perfect example of what this game is. In your backpack, when you arrive, you find, you wash up on this desert island and you get your backpack, and there's matches in there.
Yep.
And they're wet. They just say they're wet matches, right? Yeah. Looking through the wiki, those matches are completely useless. They don't do anything in the entire game. You can never use them for anything.
You carry them along in hopes?
Exactly.
Yikes. That's a dick move right there.
Yeah. So that's kind of what this game is, where it's like, oh, matches, I'll be fine. Nope.
I clearly did miss that note that they were wet because I kept trying to combine them with everything I could think of.
Oh, yep.
Well, I suppose another one in the books.
It is. Another one done. Say you can email us at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com if you ever want to get a hold of us. That's probably the way to do it. We're also on Twitter. This new thing called Twitter, I guess.
Yeah, I felt like I just would throw stuff back out there again because whatever. So I put one out there. I don't know. We'll see. There was like zero interaction. Yeah. So,
but that's par for the course for what Blue Sky was doing for us, I think.
That's true.
But yeah, we're moving. We're testing the waters.
We're jumping back into the pool.
Yep. But email probably is the way to go. If you want to contact us anyway. Yeah, I think that's going to do it. Check out Geekade, of course. their podcast network, and our exclusive movie podcast on the Geekade Patreon. We're doing Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, that classic that I've never heard of, but
Yes.
I'm sure it was probably heavily marketed. It was probably a big deal when it came out. I just don't remember it.
And I only remembered like the television sizzle reels for it, and then never got to see it because I was too young as a kid.
Yep. You didn't want to give ideas
Yes.
to impressionable children. Yeah. But yeah, that's going to do it. Until next time, be kind, rewind.
Bananas.
Bonanza.